quantity of exercise, but what? The quality or the intensity of the exercise. Let's assume hypothetically that any one of you here could curl a 100-pound barbell for a maximum of 10 reps to failure. And by that I mean you couldn't possibly do 11 reps. The 10th rep itself requires a maximum effort where you're gritting your teeth, you're shaking all over, and you barely get them. Obviously, the first rep of that set would be the easiest. Who would deny that? The first rep would be the easiest, or we would say more technically precise, the first rep would require the least intensity of effort. That first rep does fatigue you a little bit, however, even if only slightly. That's why the second rep is always harder. Whereas the first rep may require literally on the order of 8 or 10 or % intensity of effort, the second rep, you see, may require 15 or 20% intensity of effort. The second rep fatigues you even further, of course, and the third rep is harder still, requiring a more intense effort than did the second. Now, I'm not going to belabor this. You know that's how it goes with each successive rep. Each rep is harder than the last. Each successive rep requires a more intense. The key concept is intense. Until finally we get to the last possible rep in this hypothetical situation, the 10th rep to failure. Again, where you're trying as hard as you can. That would be the only rep where we say it requires literally 100% intensity of effort. My question to you is this. Which rep of that set obviously would be the most, I shouldn't use the word obviously because it's like I'm leading you here. Which rep of that set would be the most productive in terms of stimulating an optimal size and strength increase? The first rep, which is the easiest and least intense, or the last rep, the hardest one? The only rep requiring 100% intensity of effort. The last rep. Now, I've had some people in the past say the first rep because they were anxious or they didn't have normal, intact, functioning brains. And that's okay because some people aren't born with normal, intact, functioning brains. Yes, of course, the last rep would be the most productive, not the first rep. In fact, if you could curl, again, hypothetically, 100 pounds for 10 reps. Now, you would never do this, but hypothetically, for some weird, strange reason, you only ever just did the first rep, then you put the bar back down, never attempting a second, third, fourth, fifth rep. Would you ever grow? No. It's too easy. There's not enough intensity of effort. The intensity, to be more specific, the intensity of the stress on the first rep of a set of 10 is not sufficiently threatening to your body to warrant an adaptive response. That is a strength and size buildup. Just like you couldn't get a suntan sitting in front of a 100-watt light bulb. I don't care how long you sat there or how much Phosphogane suntan lotion you rubbed all over your belly button. That 100-watt light bulb is not intense enough. The intensity of the stress doesn't threaten your skin sufficiently to warrant an adaptive response. That's not a muscle buildup, but a suntan buildup. You see, audience, most people think of developing a suntan or developing larger muscles as something merely cosmetic. And by cosmetic, I mean to improve your appearance. But of course, nature couldn't care less if you were a blonde Adonis on the beach with a 22-inch arm. The development of a suntan, just like the development of larger muscles, both of those things represent literally defensive barriers the body builds to protect itself from future assaults of high-intensity stress, whether high-intensity ultraviolet sunlight stress or high-intensity anaerobic exercise.